Hi, welcome back. I hope this is part two of what I'm going to call mental dental. I did a video yesterday. Hopefully, you watched part one. I'm going to tell you what happened with the follow up, which is a real doozy. And this is even worse than the first day, okay? Today's date is, just to give you some reference, November 20th. And yesterday, I started the morning by thinking hard about what I wanted to do going forward. You have to watch the last video to really understand. I had some options. I could have a root canal done on a tooth back here, or I could have just had it extracted, or I could have gotten an implant. All kinds of options I was given by a new dentist that I went to. I'm just going to call her dental lady. Okay, so dental lady gave me these options, and to go home and think about it and let her know what I decide to do. And also she said maybe you could get a bridge. This was all expensive stuff. So I thought to myself, you know what I want to do? I think there is an oral surgeon that I went to at least 2 times in the past, over the past few years. He was very good. And I had him do an extraction of another back tooth a few years ago. And I also had a procedure done by him once where I had a crown that had gotten infected underneath, an old crown from decades ago. And he was able to go in and take out the infection from underneath the crown without removing the crown. Now, again, you have to know what I'm dealing with presently here. I have a back molar way in the back that is chipped and infected underneath. In front of it, I have a crown molar with a post that was put in there 33 years ago, and it also has an infection under it. So both of these have to be attended to, and I had to make a decision. So my decision was to call this oral surgeon, who I'm going to call Dr. B. So we have the new dentist that we didn't like yesterday, dental lady, and today we have Dr. B, the oral surgeon. I call up Dr. B in his office, and I explain to the receptionist that I would like to see him again because he's been very good to me in the past, and I would like to possibly get an extraction. I think I'm going for an extraction, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, what I want him to do is I want him to evaluate my situation. I'd like to be evaluated. Let him look at it, let him see the x-rays, and decide what I should do, right? The woman at the desk tells me over the phone that Dr. B, the oral surgeon, can't just pull a tooth because you want him to pull a tooth. He has to get a referral by your last dentist, in this case, dental lady. So I'm like, I don't understand. First of all, I think it's ridiculous, but rules are rules, right? What are you going to do? So she says, all right, I'll tell you what I'll do. She says, I'll make a call to dental lady, and I will get arranged a referral so you can come here and see Dr. B and have your oral surgeon stuff done. That's basically how it went. So I said, okay, well, she says, I'll set up a tentative appointment for you for December 5th to be evaluated by Dr. B. Now, today's November 20th. The earliest appointment I could get was December 5th. So it's okay. It is what it is. I got to deal with it till then, right? It's such a long story. So that's where we leave it. So I said, well, how will I know, if you wind up getting what you need from her? Because what if December 5th comes and I get there and it turns out you never got this referral from her? I don't know why they need a referral from her, but okay. So she said, no, I'm going to make sure I call first. So anyway, she does that. So now, I don't know if you recall the whole story, but about 2:30 that afternoon, I get a message on a voicemail from dental lady from yesterday who I didn't care for. And she says, hi, Joe, it's Dr. So-and-so, and I'm returning a call from the other day. she had promised that she was going to call me back the day before and never did. But now I found out why. She finally calls me back late, 2:30 the following day, because she says, yes, I got the phone call and I sent your dental records over to them. So if you want to go forward, give me a call. I'm here till 7 p.m. Well, finally, she gets back to me only when I called Dr. B's oral surgery office and decided to go with them. All right? And she supposedly sent my records over there. So I call up just to see what she sent. I call back at 2:30 in the afternoon or so. I call back Dr. B, the oral surgeon, and said, and here's where I really get horrified. I'm still wound up the day next morning. Turns out that dental lady sent x-rays over, but not all the x-rays. Okay, only some small kind of x-rays that they took a lot of x-rays the day before. But it turns out that she's only sending some, and that don't really help them. They need the more intense x-rays for this or whatever. Also, the dental lady did not send a referral. She has to refer. Apparently, that needs to be done. It's not enough just to send x-rays, and they're not even the right x-rays. All right? Not sending all of them. So, I'm getting a little annoyed, and finally, while I'm talking to this one receptionist at Dr. B's, there's another woman on the other side calling them back, and she's on the phone with the dental lady office. And apparently, there's some kind of a problem. They decide live... They decide we're not sending any referral. We're not going to send a referral, and supposedly dental lady is telling the woman on the phone, I recommended a root canal. I did not recommend to get an extraction, and I'm furious. And so the lady's telling me, they say that she's on the phone with the other woman, and she's saying that the doctor lady is saying that she recommended a root canal. I said she's lying. She's flat out lying. First of all, she told me that she gave me the prices. A root canal would be $5,000. A dental bridge would be $7,000. If you do them both, it's $12,000. And she said if you decide to get an extraction, it'll be $450. So she did recommend all of the above. She also, by the way, recommended you can get an implant if you want. You know, another thing with money. All right. So for this dental lady to suddenly be on the phone lying and saying, no, I told him he has to get a root canal. I didn't say he could get an extraction. And who are you to tell me what I can get anyway, right? I mean, this is America. If I want to get a tooth extracted, I can get a tooth extracted. I'm talking about a tooth extracted that has an infection and is a bad tooth, not just any old healthy tooth. But the thing is, it's my decision. It's not dental lady or dental man or Superman or anybody else or Batman. It's my decision what to do, right? So I can't believe what I'm hearing here. And it was really like 45 minutes of back and forth, and I was furious. You know, and then as she's talking, her partner is talking to dental lady's office. Says, you know, they say that you stormed out of here yesterday, which I didn't storm out. We'll get to that in a bit. That's a lie, and that she never said that you could get an extraction. She only said that she recommended a root canal. That's a flat-out lie. And on top of it, they don't send the right x-rays over. She's deliberately not sending the right x-rays and deliberately refusing to give whatever they call a referral. We're not referring him. You know what I think? I told the woman on the phone, you know what I think? I said, what I think is going on is they're angry because I'm not using them. I think they're mad. They gave me an outrageous price. They really treated me lousy. And I think what happens is, at the end of the day, they're not going to cooperate out of spite. She's not giving the referral. She's not going to. So this is what's going on. That's the basic gist of it. She's playing tough. So all of a sudden, she's not going to cooperate. She wants to hurt me because I didn't go through with it at their. I'm going from instead of their office, I'm going to now to Dr. B, the oral surgeon. I don't think she likes that. All right, outrageous. If you watch both videos, watch the one from yesterday and today, part 1 and this. I just can't believe it. So anyway, let's get to the end of this. It won't be as long as the first video. So after all is said and done, all this back and forth, and there's a lot more to this that I can't go into all the details. Finally, Dr. B's receptionist lets her manager come on the phone. Another woman. The woman manager says, okay, Joe, here's what happened. Dental lady's office says that you stormed out of here, and before we go into the rest of it, what happened was I didn't storm out of there. What happened was I went to the desk to pay my bill, and when they gave me the bill price, I said, I'm very disappointed. I did it like that. I said, I'm very disappointed, and I don't know what I'm going to do here because, this is a lot of money, and I got nothing. She didn't give me an antibiotic. She didn't give me medication. Didn't give me any of that. So I'm very disappointed. And then when I got home from that office, the first video, I looked closely at my bill, and they overcharged me for stuff that I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for them to do both my jaws. I only asked for one tooth, and they did everything and charged me more. So on the phone, I got a little annoyed. Yes, after the fact. I didn't storm out of the office. I was on the phone disputing the bill. That's as far as that went. So the bottom line, what did I get out of this? Back to the oral surgeon's office, Dr. B's manager lady. She's on the phone and she tells me, okay, I've talked to Dr. B about this. Dr. B has agreed he'll do the evaluation on you and he'll see you without a referral. So after I made enough of a stink, I was just pulling my hair out because I couldn't believe she's lying. Dental lady's lying about this and changing her story. Won't refer me. So they're going to bypass that. The oral surgeon himself, Dr. B, who's seen me a couple of times in the past, may remember me, said, I'll see him without a referral. So I won that, okay? And the woman said also, we're going to have to take new x-rays. And I got upset. I said, new x-rays? I said, I don't want to do all of that. I'm worried about radiation. I don't want to do more radiation x-rays. And she said, well, the ones we do here are digital or something. There's less radiation or no radiation. And she said, and plus, Dr. B's manager said, I won't charge you the x-rays. So apparently, I can get into the oral surgeon with no referral, and they will not charge me for the new x-rays. That's good, right? Final thing was, I said, well, gee, this is hurting me a bit. I said, I have to wait all the way till December 5th for my appointment. I said, is there anything you can do to move it up? But she says, well, if a cancellation or an opening comes in earlier, I'll let you know. She goes, hold on a minute, what's that? And she goes, somebody's talk goes, oh, there is a cancellation, November 24th. So I don't have to wait till December 5th. It's going to be November 24th, which is today. That's 4 days from today. So that's great. I don't know if this story is going to end. I'll put part 3 if there's a part 3. But right now, supposedly, I'm going to go to the oral surgeon. We're going to start from scratch. He's going to do x-rays. That'll be free. And he will evaluate what's going on, and he will evaluate the best course of treatment. And if needed, I can get an extraction from him. Or maybe he can even get under the second tooth in front. That's an old crown, and he can take the infection out without pulling out the crown. Great options, right? At least there's somewhat of a good ending for now.